Well, what do you think of this guy? Is he a sight for a nation's weary eyes? This is Joe Biden, a Democrat from the lovely state of Delaware. He is a champion for the working man. And this is FYI Sahara. You can find me on the internet airwaves on a Google search, or best would be YouTube. And for my subscribers, let me know if you got to see the video on the 9/11 special. And if you'd like to know a little bit about the causes behind that, because there have been so many conspiracy theories, that I thought it would be good to take a peeky poo at the chart. But right now we're going to look at Joe Biden and his chances for getting elected this year. Right now he is running ahead, and he would be a sure win. So they say, those are the polls. He would be a sure win over Donald Trump or almost any Republican right now. But this is early in the elections. Let's look at the astrological forecast for him. We don't want to spend a lot of time on chart analysis, but I'll give you the basics for Joe. A brief tour of this natal chart will show that he is a Scorpio. What makes him so handsome and likable is his sun is conjunct Venus. It's a very pleasant. This is a guy who likes pleasant things. He does not like conflict. And here is Juno. Juno is an asteroid. And when you look at the analysis for that particular asteroid, you'll see how his personality was formed as someone who is a champion for equality and a working man. However, we want to really concentrate on whether Joe is going to be a viable contender. Right now, he is ahead in the polls, and he, as I mentioned earlier, if the election were held right now, he would win. Next, we have a Taurus moon. That is one of the most stable placements. It's in the fifth house, which means I am outgoing and gregarious, despite my reclusive Scorpio sun. And he has lived a scorpionic life with the tragedy of losing an early marriage with his wife, and I believe it was a young daughter, in a head-on crash. So he was hit with that terrible sorrow. He did have two sons that survived. They weren't in the accident. And the most interesting speech he made when he was withdrawing from political life was, "You can get another congressman, but my children cannot get another father." This is the fifth house of children. So he decided to put his time into supporting his two remaining boys amidst a terrible tragedy. He has continued to show that kind of moral fiber as time has gone on. If he were totally into being a plutocrat and grabbing power, he wouldn't have dropped out like that. But he came back when he felt he remarried a lovely woman and continued with his family life. The thing was, right during the 2017 elections, I guess it was 2016, he lost one of his remaining sons from that earlier marriage to cancer. So he just didn't have the strength to run against Trump or to even stay in the political ring. Once again, he chose his family. All this speaks well for him. That you see the sorrow here with family is the Saturn and Uranus together make for sudden events that are very negative. But he has an overall good and charming chart. He has been blessed in so many ways, but he's had to deal with life and death issues, a true Scorpio. And and also you note his eighth house is kind of active. His rising sign, Sagittarius, always makes for a magnanimous, outgoing, hopeful, optimistic person. They're also a little on the tall side. So these are your blessed people. They have philosophical roots, and they believe in higher higher learning is a good way to put it. Beyond university, you have philosophy, and here is his eighth house having Jupiter and Pluto has made him look deep into the meaning of life. So we have a lot of depth here. He's unfortunately gained depth, kind of a tough way. But they say that we choose all this when we first come in. The things I wanted to look for with Joe, if he was going to win, you don't win. First of all, you need Leo. He has a little Leo here with the moon in the fifth house. That will give you one of the indicators of becoming a really important leader in the free will, in the free world. Next, I wanted to look at two planets that were retrograde at his birth, and you look to the secondary progressions to see if they have gone direct, because when you have either one of these or both of these retrograde, you're going to have trials that hold you back, and that is what has happened to him. In the secondary progressions, we see that Saturn decided to go direct. This makes all the difference. It takes the weight off of your shoulder. Because having Saturn retrograde will weigh you down. It feels like you have a ball and chain on your that you have to drag around. I had this particular aspect, Saturn retrograde, all my life. Just recently, it's gone direct, and I feel a weight lifting, and I won't always be held back for a true expression of creative projects. And here, the next thing I wanted to look at, because we looked at some charts with Jupiter retrograde in the first house, which usually is a very greedy, selfish person. If it's direct, it's good. If it's retrograde, it is the opposite of it holds you back. But that has to be in the first house, and for you to show the overindulgent and greedy side of Jupiter. But that's not the case here. But because of his placement of Jupiter, it says you're going to be held back, but it's a little easier on you. But the focus on death has been hard for him. So you have, of course, that's life in a way. Let's put it this way: he was not born into wealth. This gave him the personality to defend the common working man, as he has been a representative in the Rust Belt for so long. But here we have Jupiter. You can tell when it's retrograde. It'll have a little R behind it, and in this particular chart, it shows that when it's red like this, it's retrograde. If it's a different color, it's direct. It's just the way this chart is. And we have Jupiter here, is not direct yet. That will hold him back. You don't put the crown on your head during Jupiter retrograde. So, but he has overall a good chart. He actually has something that's helped him financially. Sadly, because of our system, you have to have a lot of money to win. And he had Juno. We looked at Juno, somebody that wants to do things right, and it's moved into the second house, which means if he's had to collect campaign money, he's not bought into some of the more evil factions that want you to, he's not going to sell himself short, but he's going to accept the money, and he's been criticized for that. But I'm sorry, looking at our current president, that ain't nothing. This is a different type of progression. It's solar arc progression. And what we have here is Black Moon Lilith. Lilith is the dark side of the moon, and it brings out, evil is not the right word, but murky, unfounded things. And the fall that you take with Black Moon Lilith can be a hard fall. And you're going to see right here that Lilith is coming up to his midheaven. And already, it would mean dark founded rumors. And as a general public, you might believe them at first. They're not true. I'll tell you right now, his chart doesn't show that. And we've already had the strangest accusation by a woman in politics who says he kissed me on the neck. I'm sorry, really. you know, that's laughable, but these things hurt and they drag you down, and that is what's happening to him. And this woman will disappear, but there will be more things that are blown out of proportion with our dear Joe. Also, I wanted to show you the asteroid Juno. It is just crossing over his ascendant. And this is good luck. Juno is in this particular area, means that his ability to represent the common man is going to really be emphasized in spite of the Black Moon Lilith. However, I don't think Juno is strong enough to get you over the top, but this goes, yeah, you've got a chance, but unfortunately I believe it's just a chance, and it's going to take more than that. Now, on election day, there are two things playing into my feeling that he is not going to win, albeit he should. This is, well, should's not always the kingmaker, let me tell you. So it's not based on anything that we understand in our lives. It's based on something larger, such as what you've chosen to come in to work out. Here we have on election day, Saturn, Mr. Thou shalt not have. That's it. That's Saturn. This thou shalt not have, in opposition to Jupiter. Jupiter, the great beneficent, is trine his ascendant. So with that alone, that will keep you from winning the prize. As well, now mind you, this is Jupiter when he was born, and this is planets when they're progressed to the current date. And right now, I've done it for election day. Here is Jupiter again. Now, it's great to have Jupiter in your second house. This means that he's had a real up and down experience getting enough money, but I think he has. That's not the problem. What the problem is, I don't know. But right now, Jupiter is in opposition to Jupiter. This natal when you're born, and this is secondary progression. Um, I'm sorry, these are transits for election day. So you have Jupiter in opposition to Jupiter, but worst is Mr. Thou shalt not have. Um, are there other things that are kind of nice and pleasant? Yes, kind of, but not enough to put you over the top to win an election that will be hard fought. I I wish Joe the best. If he did get elected, I would feel rest assured that we're in good hands. However, there are things afoot that are unknown that show that he probably will not win. There's not enough um, karmic value at this particular time of his life. Has he served our nation well? Certainly has. He's had a lot to deal with, and don't we all? And don't we all? I have some new charts coming up. Everything from Elizabeth Warren to Beto O'Rourke to Mayor Pete and all the other Kamala Harris, all the other amazing people that are running. And my feeling, of course, is after what we've been through, they all look good to me. They all look great. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's what you want. But you know, but I mean, the people running are such high quality. How it will shake down, look at my upcoming videos with some of the major contenders. It's very exciting, and we're at a very exciting time of our lives. And if you subscribe, be sure to press the notification bell so you'll be notified when these uh, charts come up. And for the people that have subscribed, I hope you enjoyed the analysis of 9/11, and I hope that it helps shed light on that terrible time of our country. So it's exciting, so stay tuned.